Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Crisis. It's probably going to be one of my final videos on Crisis, but it's time to talk about some of the aftermath. So, the epic 5-part Crisis on Infinite Earths event has, well, it's finally come to an end. What started with all, I guess, the doom and gloom as the fate of the multiverse and all our heroes was, I guess, on the line, ended with hope and light as we saw things change for, I'd say, the better in most cases. I know Oliver died, so that's not a good thing, but in regard, outside of that, most stuff was pretty good. We saw like things change for the better in most cases, as well as the introduction of, I guess, some very cool and fan favorite moments and just things that happen in characters. So in this video, we're going to go over all the evident changes from Crisis on Infinite Earths that we know of now. Now, unfortunately, I say unfortunately like it's a bad thing, but this will be added to in the weeks to come as the individual shows make reference to changes that they are experiencing themselves, whether they be minor, like little one-liner things, or major, like they focus on them throughout the season. But we will go over all the evident ones from the conclusion of Crisis, as well as, you know, explaining them if we need to. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below, I guess, your favorite one of these changes, or maybe if you have a differing opinion on them, or even if I missed one. Let me know if I missed one, because I think I might have missed one or two, but I tried to note down all the main ones, like the evident ones. But if you know any little minor ones that were noted, let me know. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below all that. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, and yeah, you just like this thing, I guess, why not drop a like on the video to show support and all that. So the first one is a pretty obvious one, and that's the characters from Supergirl and Black Lightning's Earths have now merged with those from Earth 1 to form Earth Prime. Now, obviously from Earth 1 we had the characters from Arrow, The Flash, Legend of Tomorrow, and Batwoman. Now, while this won't result in major changes to, I guess, like the characteristics of everyone, maybe it could change it to like some villains, or maybe even some side characters that might show up every now and then. It just won't affect the major ones, but it will change the history of the Earth, as these heroes have now always been around each other since they came to be. So, as we saw in that scene, well, I guess that initiated the fact that these Earths are merged. We saw Marv Wolfman's cameo character come in and say, yeah, you've been fighting since, you know, ever since you were fighting, ever since you've been around. So that was made evident. I'm sure, I'm not saying next episode, like the next episodes to come around, but maybe in the episodes to come over the next couple of months, there might be references to, like, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, Flash and Supergirl teamed up to take on maybe like some villain on Supergirl, like someone named Someone. That's who they versed. The villain known as Someone. That's who they came up against. So there might be references to little things like that. Obviously, we've still got things where, like, Batwoman probably only still came up last year, and everything like that. But even with, like, Black Lightning, it will be interesting to see if they reference to, like, you know, him back in the day, if there's anything like that. So I'm intrigued to see what they do there, but for now we'll have to wait and see. But, you know, they have merged. In regards to, like, the Earth Prime stuff, Central City and National City are now just across a stretch of water. That wasn't like that before, because, well, they just weren't together. This is sort of similar to Gotham and Metropolis from the comics and some other mediums as well. Now, should we expect any, like, random cameos or crossovers constantly between these, like the Flash and Supergirl? Probably not, but at least there won't be too much, you know, travel time between visits. So at least if they do have to cross over, mate, they don't even, like, Flash doesn't even have to run. He might catch the bus. He might go for a nice bus ride over the bridge. Who knows what they'll do? But yeah, they're pretty close now. And in regards to some, I wouldn't even call these minor. Like, some of them are actually pretty major, especially in one case for stuff going forward. But one's more of like a closure thing, I think, and like a resolution, which I thought was nice. And that's that Diggle, or John Diggle, now has 2 children, Sarah and John Diggle Jr. Now, John Diggle Jr. was already there, but Sarah was there before him. But she was erased, so Sarah has been brought back into existence following her erasal, or just following her being erased, following Flashpoint and what Barry did, and being replaced by John Jr. Now, I guess the big question around this, we do have Green Arrow and the Canaries, that backdoor pilot for Arrow coming out next week or later this week, depending on when you're watching this video. Will adult Sarah appear in that? Because adult Connor Hawke is meant to be in that episode, as well as adult John Diggle Jr. So will adult Sarah be there? There is a promo image where it does show an African-American woman, but her name is Bianca Bertinelli, but maybe that's a cover name to cover up for Sarah Diggle. So maybe that could be Sarah Diggle in that promo image, and they just used Bianca Bertinelli to cover that up until, well, maybe they should have released the promo image after, but they didn't. It came out before. So I have to wait and see if that's a cover-up, and that actually is adult Sarah. But I'm intrigued to see what they do there, because was it for a reason, or is it just to have some closure because of what Barry did in Flashpoint? We'll have to wait and see. Superman, or Clark Kent, now has 2 children. Obviously, he had a baby at the beginning of Crisis with Lois Lane, but now he has 2 boys. We do hear Lois Lane say this over the phone. Now, this is setting up his spin-off show by the sounds of it, because that show does look like it's going to be like a Super Sons type of show, but it was rumored that there was, well, it was actually reported that there was 2 teenage roles, like 2 main teenage roles being cast, and a lot of people thought they were going for like a Damian Wayne type character, so you'd have John Kent, his actual son, and then Damian Wayne there, and they'd be like friends and go to high school together. But now it seems that it's going to be 2 brothers, 2 twins maybe, going to school together, and everything like that, because the big question around this is how old they are, because that spin-off based off audition materials does feature teenage boys. So has there been a massive age increase? Did Lois and Clark have their kid 13, 14, 15 years ago? We'll have to wait and see. That's very intriguing and also a bit confusing. So hopefully they make that somewhat clear in the pilot episode at least, or even maybe in Supergirl this season. Now, Lex Luthor is now the head of the DEO and pretty much perceived to the public the opposite way he was on Earth 38. Now, Supergirl the show will deal with all of this in the episodes to follow on from Crisis, so that makes sense. I know I did see people complaining, where did Lex go? They just sort of did that thing and they just left it. That's because he was seen as like a good guy, so he wasn't really in like a villainous position. So I think it's better if Supergirl just deals with that on like on the Supergirl show. But aside from that, I am intrigued to see how it is handled. I did watch the trailer for next week, and somewhat heroic, or at least like anti-hero sort of Lex. I don't know what they're going to do. I like Lex when he's villainous, and especially like John Crye's Lex when he's villainous and just being a bit of an ass. So I don't know, I have to wait and see how this like maybe somewhat, well, sometimes good Lex is, and whether he's good or not, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, in the scene in the, like I guess you could call it the Hall of Justice type location, just after our group sits at the round table, which is very cool, we do hear a like a high-pitched giggle or laugh, followed by us seeing an unlocked cage that's sort of like the door swinging with the name Gleek on it. Now, Gleek is actually the alien monkey type creature who is buddied up with the Wonder Twins from the Super Friends. Now, obviously, this would have been a weird thing normally on Earth 1 before Crisis. Like, it would have been like, how the hell did that alien get here? Is that connected to the Dominators? What's going on there specifically? But now with the whole Supergirl influence on Earth Prime now, with everything merging and aliens openly just among everything and everyone, Gleeks among other potential aliens open a big door for potential characters to enter the show and maybe be on The Flash or other shows like that. I mean, for example, Batwoman, based off their promo, has a goddamn vampire in the next episode who's literally killing people and drinking blood. Like, what the hell? So this new multiverse and this new Earth Prime is definitely going to get a bit weird, because the characters on the former Earth 1 that weren't really exposed to this too much, outside of things like the Invasion crossover with Dominators, are definitely going to have new things around them that are definitely going to pose threats. Like, even with the Flash this season, with Black Hole, maybe there's alien technology that maybe they get their hands on now, when before it was just like, you know, little dark matter energy things and everything like that. So things could change big for the shows that weren't really used to the extraterrestrial life. Now, the DCEU now exists in the multiverse. It was hard to be 100% sure how they were portraying what was exactly going on with Ezra Miller's Flash when he did appear, but he did fade away like Oliver Queen did earlier in the episode, which does suggest he just went elsewhere in the Speed Force, because that's what happened with Oliver. Now, while it wasn't highlighted in the montage of the multiverse later on, that simply could have come down to licensing issues, so maybe they couldn't get a shot of like, maybe like Wonder Woman doing something or Shazam doing something. They couldn't get the licensing stuff for that, but they could maybe get like just Ezra Miller's Flash to appear there and not use his powers, just stand there in the suit. So while it wasn't clear where the DCU lies in regards to an Earth, it's there. It's somewhere there, and you never know, we might get that answered in the seasons to come. Who knows? But specifically on those new Earths in the multiverse, let's go over them. We got a big montage at the end. So Earth 2 is now the home of the Stargirl show, which will be on the CW fairly soon, which also means it is the home of the JSA, or the Justice Society of America, which is fitting, seeing the JSA ties into Earth 2 in the comics. I guess the big question around this is like, where are Jesse Quick and Harry Wells? Are they still on this Earth, or another Earth in the multiverse, or are they just gone? Where will other characters that were established on like on the former Earth 2 be from now? Will they be from like Earth 7 or something like that? I'm sure they'll establish that. Like, obviously we do have Green Arrow and the Canaries next week with Laurel or Dinah Lance from Earth 2 or the former Earth 2, so maybe she might establish where she's from. But I'm sure I don't think they'll leave us hanging. I think they might at least flesh it out a bit. Now, Earth 12 is where we see a Green Lantern fly from Earth, and we also see Oa. Now, the footage is all from the 2011 Green Lantern film, but it wouldn't be a surprise to me, at least, if it is more of a representation for the upcoming Green Lantern series on HBO Max. We know that's coming. There's links or rumors that it is tied to the Arrowverse, so wouldn't surprise me if they did that. They obviously haven't started filming, so they couldn't use footage for that. So maybe they were just able to use the 2011 Green Lantern film and just leave us with that. Now, Earth 12 is actually the home of Batman Beyond in the comics, so there's a little bit of a fun fact. Earth 19 is Swamp Thing. I didn't see much of him otherwise outside of like sitting down. Now, Earth 19 is obviously the former home of H.R. Wells and Accelerated Man and Gypsy as well and Breacher. So where did they go? Who knows? Earth 9 is Titans, just like it was pre-Crisis, so not really much to talk about there. Earth 21 is Doom Patrol. Now, that footage was either new or unused. I'm pretty sure that wasn't from an episode last season. Earth 21 is actually the home of the New Frontier story from the comics, so I guess it goes for like a sort of like a classic look, so that sort of fits in. And finally, we had the Earth 96 Superman, no longer as the Kingdom Come version with like the darker suit and the red and black emblem. This is classic Superman colors, straight up like homage to the Christopher Reeve and his Superman with the red and yellow and even like a brighter cape and everything like that. Hopefully we see more of this in the future, whether it is in the Arrowverse specifically on another show or even in his own show, maybe on like HBO Max or something. They did that new suit for literally like a 2-second shot. So you have to think that's going to come back. Like, they made a new emblem and a new cape for him to use. So, man, I couldn't see them just using it for that. Hopefully we see more of that in the future because he's just so good in that role. And he got a tough ride with that movie. If he had a better script, maybe a better director, man, like, he would have been Superman for the years to come after that. But yeah, guys, that's all to go over. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below. As I said, did I miss out on anything major or even minor in regards to changes to the multiverse? Let me know any of them in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.